everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Deja and I'm so glad to be here with you today. Today on the channel I'm going to be talking about lots of wonderful things and I'm so excited. So of course I'm going to talk about my progress on my current whips. I'm also going to talk about some things that I've bought recently that are connected with yarn and crochet, and I'm going to talk about my channel's name, why I chose that name and what it means, and then I'm also going to talk a little bit about my crochet story, you know, what brought me here to this day in my crochet life, and I'm really excited to share these things with you. So thank you so much for being here with me, and thank you for just being here. Sorry to repeat that, but I'm just so excited. Also, I just did my hair again. I washed and conditioned it, so it's a little extra bouncy today, girl. But without further ado, let's get into our whips. So the first whip I have here is going to be my granny stripe shawl for my granny. Actually, I do call my grandmother Granny, so it's like perfect. Everything that I'm showing you today are just the things that I have made progress on. I do have other whips that I have not made any progress on in the last few days, so I won't be showing those today. But here's my granny shawl. Not too much progress has been made, but I have done at least 4 or 5 rows, so that's a little bit, you know. And yeah, so that's how it's looking. Again, I got this pattern from my local yarn store. I bought the yarn and they gave me the pattern along with it. So, because they had it displayed, this shawl, it displayed in the store, so I just grabbed it. So yeah, there's that. I think it's so pretty. It's just such a nice, calm, easy make. I like to do it when I have to keep my mind engaged on something. Like, it's very important for me to keep my mind engaged on the thing that I'm doing, but I need to keep my hands busy because I'm just one of those people. I get very restless, you know, if I'm just sitting down for a long time. So yeah, there's that. My next one I'm going to be showing is my progress on the Traveler sweater, Fair Isle sweater by Brianna Kane. I've made quite a bit of progress on it. So the last time I think you saw these 3 colors, and it was like just the beginnings of this kind of color work, alternating colors here. So now I am a few rows in. This is pretty tedious, so I have to only do like 1 to 2 rounds at a time, and then start working on something else. But yeah, it's starting to look really good. I just love this. It's just so pretty. Yeah, I can't wait to block it and to get it like to the dimensions it needs to be, and then start working on the body. I'm almost there. I think I have maybe like 4 or 5 more rows of the color work, and then I can start the body. I'm so excited. And then I will be like well on my way to Sleep Island. So yeah, I'm so excited for that. And again, I am using Lion Brand Heartland yarns. They're like these heathered colors for that. So refer to the first video if you want to see what I'm using for that. Okay, so the next thing here that I have that's a whip is new, and it's the last whip, and it's something that I'm making myself. I'm not using a pattern for it. I'm just kind of learning. I'll get into that a little bit more about my story, but I'm learning a lot about garment making right now. So I'm experimenting, I'm practicing. I don't know where this is going to go, but I definitely wanted to try it, and so I'm excited. So what I'm using for this is the wool-like yarn from Loops and Threads brand, I believe. It's the Michaels yarn. Yeah, it's Loops and Thread. And this is a 1 weight yarn, super fine, 678 yards. That's a lot of yarn. And this calls for a 3.5 millimeter hook. And this is the color Olive. And I guess that's all. Yeah. 3.5 ounces, 620 meters, 100 grams. So that's what I'm using. And what I'm making is a sweater. This is the beginning of a sweater. So for the ribbing, I made, it's kind of hard to explain, but this is kind of like a doubled, so it's like a thick, I like folded it in half and like stitched around it, and then made my stitches on that foundation. But I don't know what I'm gonna call this. I don't even know what it's gonna be, but I want it to be a simple basic sweater that I'm, you know, gonna be perfecting, and I'm using the moss stitch. I love the moss stitch. It's where you single crochet, chain one, single crochet, and on the next round or the next row, you're going to single crochet into the chain one space, and so on. So that's what I'm doing, and so far it's turning out really nice. I try to make it really, really stretchy, so it fits over my head, but I love it. It is so nice. I didn't mention I'm holding 2 strands double, so yeah, I'm using 2 strands of this one 1-weight yarn, which I guess makes it like a sport weight. I think maybe makes it a 2-weight yarn, I guess, or a DK. I really don't know. I don't know these things. So there's that. I think I pulled out a stitch. Lord. And I'm just kind of making this up as I go. But I'm kind of using what I'm learning from the traveling sweater to help me understand like increasing and shaping and whatnot on this sweater. But I really like it so far. I just love this texture, and I don't know if I mentioned in either of my previous videos, but I really love a closed, like a sort of a closed knit stitch. I love crochet garments that are solid, like the piece of fabric itself looks like one piece of fabric. To me, that really is what I love to make, is what interests me, is what kind of gets my fire going for crochet. So I'm not really a fan of like holes in my clothing. I just don't. I'm not even like a pattern type of girl in general. So for me to make crochet garments, I prefer for them to be solid like this, like hardly any holes. I want to be able to wear it without having to care too much about what's underneath it, if anything, you know, like a t-shirt or something like that. I don't really like to do layers in that sense. So yeah, so this is what I'm working on. It's so cute. So far I love it. So it's gonna be basically like a round yoke, and then I'm gonna split it into a raglan, and then it's gonna be a top down, sweater. So I'm excited for that. So I will keep you guys posted on the progress. I'm not sure where it's gonna go. It might get ripped out. I don't know. I don't know because I don't know. I mean, it's new for me and I'm learning. So it might get ripped out, but I found it to be very exciting because I've always wanted to make a moss stitch sweater, and I want to make a waistcoat stitch sweater, but this will be my waistcoat stitch for the most part, because this whole thing is done in the waistcoat or the split single crochet stitch, and then the body is actually going to be done in another stitch. I think it's going to be single crochet in the front loop and back loop, like alternating front and back loop, or it's going to be single crochet, double crochet. I really don't know, but it's one of those two. I haven't gotten that far in the pattern. So those are my whips for now. And I guess now I'm going to talk about some new acquisitions that I have from a few different places, but they are yarn related. Sorry, my lips get dry. It's wintertime, artificial heat, all that good stuff. I wish Pepper would wake up so you can see her. Hey, come here. Come here, sweetie. Say hello. Hello. Say hi, yarny people. Pepper, say hi. Pepper. I'll get her to put her head up. Pepper, say hello. I want you to say hello. She gets like so, I think, like rattled when I have her in my arms like this, that her ears go back. But normally her ears are like perked up like this, and it's so cute. But when her ears go back, she looks like a little alien. Very cute alien, I must say. She's doing it a little bit, but I'll show you. I'll guess insert a picture of her when she has her little ears perked. It's so cute. Hey, baby. Hi, sweetie. No. Go lay down. I'm sorry I woke you. I really didn't think you were gonna wake up. Go lay down. Okay. Sorry. My eyes itching. This is what happens when you don't take off your mascara. I never take off my mascara. I'm that kind of person. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to share is I got some blocking mats. I never had blocking mats before. I just used there's a knitter that I like to watch sometimes. I don't usually watch knitting podcasts, but lately some people's like personality like really appeals to me. So if that happens, then I'll watch their content even if I don't do the craft, or if I'm not even into what they're doing, I'll just listen to them and like watch their personality. And I like the Drunk Knitter. It's a crazy name. But I like her, and she's so funny to me, and she's just one of those people who's just like, look, you use what you got. And she said that when she was in college, she would use her old yoga mat, and I was like, oh, use my yoga mat. I don't ever use it for yoga. And so I just cut it up into 3 pieces, I believe, and then just use it to block a project. But I decided to invest in some actual blocking mats since I got the blocking pins. Oh, that's another thing I gotta show you. Hold on. Okay, so I finally got everything that I need. I'm never prepared. It's just my nature, I guess. Okay, so the blocking mats that I got are from this brand. Cheers to you. You as in a sheep. You. And I got it from Amazon. And they look like this. Just some standard blocking mats. They were pretty affordable. They were cheaper than, I think, Knitter's Pride. Not to put Knitter's Pride down, but I feel like it's just a piece of foam. Like, why am I gonna pay more than I actually have to pay? But we'll see how they work out. I got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocking mats. That's a lot. That would be perfect for any project that I have. So I got that, and I'm so excited. I will definitely show you how they work out when I am blocking the yoke, which will be very soon. Once I'm done with the color work portion, I'm gonna go ahead and block it to the dimensions and then get started on the body. So I will show you how they work out, and I will give you an update on my blocking. Okay. Now to go along with that, I got some blocking pins. I got 2 sets of these blocking pins. And in the set comes these stitch markers, the locking stitch markers. This is the main reason I got this one over another one, but these are a bit like, I want to say flimsy. I don't know. I just feel like they might hold your stitches, but I feel like maybe not. They might just pop open. But that will be really good for counting when you're like, have long rows and you're counting your stitches. So I can use them for that. There's this. I have no clue what this is. I'm assuming it's something for your finger. Anybody knows, let me know. No clue. And then there are these blocking pins. So I have a whole set of these that I got from Hobby Lobby. The T pin that looks like this. It's very sharp on the bottom, and then it looks like a T on the top. So I have so many of these. I have a whole like package of them that I got from Hobby Lobby. But I really wanted these. I just poked myself. They are sharp. I don't see why they have to be that sharp, but they are. So I got these pins because sometimes these don't give you the shape that you want. Yeah, sometimes you need like a whole like section to be like making a certain line, and it's hard to do that with these. And you can easily run out of these if you're trying to get that shape. So I wanted these. So I got 2 sets of them, and they have long ones and short ones. 8. So this is equivalent to 8 of the T-pins, and this is equivalent to 4 of the T-pins. So that's what I got. So that's one. And this is from I don't this is the company. I don't even know how to say that. Can y'all see that at the bottom? Maybe that's not the company. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm going to link it down below. It might be this. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm going to link it down below. This says knit blockers and pin kit. Yeah, okay. I don't know the name, but I'll link it down below. So those are the two things that I got. Those are two things that I got from Amazon. And I'll link everything down below where I got it and with the prices and everything. So, and they came with this little foam thing. I guess it's for like swatching. I think this would be really good for swatching if you wanted to block your swatch. So they each came with one of those. So those are two new things. And then another thing that I got recently was, probably like 3 weeks ago now, is the Denise interchangeable crochet hook set. I've been eyeing this for a very long time on Amazon. It's been in my cart, but the price fluctuates quite a bit, so I was waiting for it to get low, like low enough to the point that I wanted to buy it, because at one point it was going for like $70 and I was not going to pay that. Definitely not going to pay that. I'm a bit of a cheapskate. Like, I'll pay when I feel that it's very, very worth it, but I'm a bit of a cheapskate otherwise. Like, I'm going to pay, I want to get maximum value for what I buy. And so, yeah. So that's, I've eventually got this. I got it from my local yarn store. I wanted to do it that way because I wanted to help the local yarn store and support them and support the small business. That's very important to me, to like pour into your local community. So I wanted to do that. And it was cheaper than on Amazon. So at first it was more expensive than on Amazon, but I guess she went down in her price. So I got this for just under $50, which to me is still a lot, but I really wanted this set because the other set I mentioned in my first video, it is okay, but it fell apart on me a couple of times when I was making a Tunisian crochet blanket, and that resulted in me dropping some stitches and me having to work hard to get them back where they needed to be. So hopefully this one will work out a little bit better. We'll see. I do wish there was more joints. There's only 2 joints. Oh, I should tell you what comes in there. So there's 2 connectors. There are loops and then straight ones. So like, I guess circulars and straights. I don't know, what do you call those things? Cables. Thank you. That's the word, cables. So there's tons of cables in here, and they're like several different sizes. So you can join the 2 longest ones together, and maybe put a couple other ones on there and then get a really long cable. And then here are the crochet hooks on the other side. They go all the way up from 3.75 millimeter, which is an F, all the way to 15 millimeter. So they have 3.75, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 15. So quite a range. And then there are stoppers for the end of your cables. So yeah, I'm excited to use this to work on something. I'm not sure exactly what I have in mind, but I definitely wanted this in my crochet arsenal. So there's that. And the last thing I have that's a recent crochet related purchase is the Complete Crochet Course. This book I got from Barnes & Noble. It's from Shannon and Jason Mullet-Bowlesby. Looks like that. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of expensive at Barnes & Noble. I saw it cheaper on Amazon by like $15, but I wasn't gonna return it. Normally I would return it. I'm definitely return it and go for the cheaper price type of person, but I didn't want to go back. I just didn't want to. So this book is like extremely comprehensive. It has everything in it. And I felt like if a new crocheter is trying to build up a crochet library, this is absolutely the first book to get. It has everything. It literally calls it the ultimate reference guide, and it has everything from the basics to stitches to materials to yarns to stitches, techniques, blocking. It talks about how you finish your projects, your edges, you know, like bordering and everything. It talks about everything you could think of. Like, I'm just going to open to a random page. What is this? This is talking about front post double crochet. Oh, and they tell you what these symbols mean. So if you ever see a crochet chart and it has these like symbols, it shows you what they mean and helps you understand how to read stitches. Talks about increasing and decreasing. Variations on basic stitches, foundation stitches, half double crochet, and it also has, which is really nice, the crochet terms for US and UK. So those are really nice. It talks about ribbing. Apparently there are 6 ways to do ribbing, which I had no clue about. Yeah, so it tells you everything. This segment on finishing, I'm so excited because I feel like that's the area where my crochet needs the most help. So they have blocking, special techniques before you sew, seams and joins, buttonholes and zippers. Good stuff. So definitely check this book out. I think I got mine for about $40, maybe like $35, $40. And I'm pretty sure on Amazon it's like $30. Maybe like $29. So double check for sure and see what they have there. But I'll link it below on Amazon and I'll link it below on Barnes & Noble's website. So that is the last of my new yarn type acquisitions. Actually, no, it's not. No, this is kind of camouflaged. I actually recently got a yarn bowl from Amazon. And it's really, really beautiful. And I think it was really worth the price. So it's wooden and it's got this beautiful polished wax on it. I'll link it below, but I really, really love the design on it. I just think it's so beautiful. Some of them are a bit over the top. I'm a very understated type of person. I love for all of my decor to kind of be mild and modest and come together and make a really nice whole. I don't really like anything to be over the top. I'm just not, I don't know. So yeah, that's what I got and I love it so much. This is the medium size and I've been currently using it for my granny stitch shawl. So it sits perfectly in there, and I could probably fit 2 skeins in here if I wanted to. If I wanted to sit them up like this, I could fit 2 skeins. And if anybody doesn't know, a yarn bowl is used for when you want to use a yarn bowl or a yarn ball and you don't want it to be rolling all over the floor, which comes in handy, especially if you have animals. You don't want dog hair or pet hair all over your yarn. And if you have a roving style yarn like this or anything that's just 100% wool, it will felt very easily the more friction that you have on it. So you definitely want to use a yarn bowl or have some other way to keep it from being tousled around. So there's that. So we've talked about our whips, we've talked about crochet acquisitions, and now it's time for a little chat about myself, like a little bit about my crochet story, and then at the very end I will talk about the name that I've chosen for this channel. So to start about me, first of all, my name is Deja. I am 26 years old. Originally from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I've moved here to the Shenandoah Valley, and I love it so far. It definitely was a difficult adjustment because, I'm coming from such a big city, and this place is very rural. It's like farmland USA, like 100%. We have chicken plants and cattle farms all around me. And it's really nice. I mean, we have a very large Mennonite community, and so occasionally driving through certain parts of town, you will see like a horse and buggy and people driving in a horse and buggy, and you'll see several of the Mennonite women. They'll be wearing very nice plain gowns or plain dresses, and they'll have a cute little cap on their head. So yeah, you'll see that in the area where I live. And yeah, it's just nice. I mean, they have nice 4 seasons. You see the Blue Ridge Mountains everywhere because we technically live in the valley of the Blue Ridge Mountains. So it's very beautiful here. Everywhere you go, you can see beautiful views of the mountains. So it's really nice. Where I lived, I was also very close to the Blue Ridge Mountains in Winston. It's not very far away from the mountains at all. So it's kind of like coming to a place very similar to where I used to be, but it's just a little bit less urban, a little more quaint and homey. Like everyone here does their own oil changes. Like I didn't know that was a thing. I thought you know, where I'm from, you just take it to the mechanic and they do your oil change. But here, you know, we had to kind of sort of figure that out on our own. Yeah, and it's the kind of place where everything closes around 9 o'clock and nothing is available. So if you want something to eat, you gotta figure it out by 8 o'clock. So yeah, it was definitely an adjustment. I wouldn't say it's like the most diverse area, but everyone who's here really loves it, and they're very passionate. So the local college here, everyone just kind of graduates and just stays. So that's something that really speaks to the area. It is an adjustment. You know, it was an adjustment at first, and I've been here almost 2 years now, so I'm kind of getting there. But yeah, so enough about that. How I came to learn to crochet. Well, crochet actually is something handed down in my family. Of my generation. I'm really the only one that took. My mother has two daughters, and she taught me to crochet. I don't even think she attempted to teach my sister to crochet, because my sister, she's not very interested in those type of things. She's more tomboy type of girl. I've always been very girly. I love pink. I love polishing my nails. I love doing my hair, carrying a purse, you know, lipstick, everything, the whole 9, jewelry. I'm that type of girl. Love very dainty things. I love things that are vintage inspired, the 20s all the way up to the 50s. I love that time era for women. I just think it's like the height of femininity and elegance and beauty, and I just love it. I think it's just beautiful. It's like just being sassy enough, but also covering up and knowing how to leave things from the imagination. So that's the kind of era that I love. And I'm going off on a tangent again. But anyways, my mother taught me to crochet. I'm sorry. My mother taught me to crochet, and she learned from her mother / her grandmother. And my grandmother, I don't think she's ever sat down and taught me anything about crocheting, but we talk about crocheting quite a bit. So I'll say ultimately I learned from my mom, and the very first thing I learned to make was a granny square. And I think I was probably somewhere around the age of 7 or 8 when I learned to crochet. And it just fascinated me, just seeing my mom like sitting there with a crochet hook and the yarn, and just seeing how the colors kind of fed into each other. And I was just fascinated. It seemed like such a beautiful challenge. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to like master it. So I did. I started crocheting, and I learned how to do a granny square, and I started making granny square blankets. And for the longest time, that's pretty much what I made. And then, you know, throughout childhood, you kind of go through phases of learning different things and enjoying different things. And I was a theater kid for a little while. And yeah, like crochet kind of came back to my life when I was in my like early to mid-teens. So I would say somewhere around 14, I started picking up crochet again after a little while. It's something that I would do in the summers at summer camp. But I started picking it up because it was like, it's very stress relieving. And I kind of had, you know, I was in a stressful time, of course, in high school. It's stressful for anybody. Plus, you know, a few other things I had going on, and it was so stress relieving. And I would crochet hats, and I would make hats in like an hour. I would crochet a hat, and I used to love it. And I had a friend who would crochet as well, and she just inspired me so much because she could always finish her projects, and I always wanted to start new projects and not finish them. So it was great. I love that time in my life, just when I was like exploring crochet. And then I kind of, throughout the year, I would kind of crochet something here and there, maybe start a little something, put it down. You know, I would never crochet anything big or do anything consistent with crocheting. But then I went to a yarn store. I went to a Hobby Lobby, and they had yarns that I never really saw before, or never really known that there were like other fibers. I never really paid attention to fibers, or what the yarn was made from, or anything like that. But then I started to pay attention to that. And it was just fascinating to me how different yarn textures and fibers create a whole different look. So that is what kind of got my passion going again with crocheting. and then I started to see patterns that really intrigued me. One channel that really sparked me creatively was Siren's Crochet. Siren's Crochet. I will link her channel down below. She is amazing. I think she is Turkish. I believe she is. I'm sorry if it's not right, but for some reason, I think crochet is very big in Turkey, because I see so many other crocheters that are from Turkey, and they have like the most intricate crochet patterns and designs that are just gorgeous. And I want to say it's a very big thing in Turkey. But even if it's not, she's amazing. She has awesome patterns. She's so sweet, so humble, so kind. She has cats, which is, that's the only time I like to see cats is on someone's YouTube channel, because they love their animals, and I love to see them loving their animals like I love my animal. So yeah, so it was Siren's channel that really sparked me to crochet different types of hats. Like I started different patterns, and I done different scarves and things like that, and that was just so fascinating to me. And then I got into other things, and I started to look at Tony Lipsy, her Tunisian crochet page, because I got really inspired by Tunisian crochet. As you know, I love the closed stitch sort of fabric that's created by Tunisian crochet, so that really sparked me. And then, you know, little by little I started to reach out and look at other people on like YouTube / Instagram. I don't really use Instagram, but I hope to have something up and running very soon. I'm not really good with social media. I'm not good at keeping up with those types of things, and it's stressful, so I kind of stay away from that. But maybe eventually I'll get something going, and I hope to also have an Etsy eventually, but I'm taking one step at a time. And to me, this is first order of business, because I just wanted to sit and chat with you guys. So yeah, so that's pretty much how I got really intrigued with crocheting. And where I currently am is making garments. Like, it just blew my mind that you can make a crochet sweater. Like, I never thought about that. It just never occurred to me that you could crochet a sweater or make a giant blanket that is this really beautiful intricate pattern, or use this wonderful gorgeous color work. Like, I just can't believe it. And so it just blows my mind that I'm even making this color work sweater. It's amazing. It's a whole new world, and it's like I finally feel I found the art medium that speaks to me the most, because I love watercolor and I love music. I sing, not on any, you know, online presence or anything like that. It's just really my daily life. But I love to sing. I mentioned I was a theater kid. I did like musical theater for a little bit. But crocheting to me is that creative outlet. I'm not good at writing songs. I overthink things. I love to write poetry, but it's been a while since I've done that. But crocheting to me is like, just give me a hook and some beautiful yarn that inspires me, and something beautiful is going to come out of it. And it's such a stress reliever in the process, and it's so productive. I feel like you are like, it's not like an entertainment that's wasting time, that's just like turning your brain into mush, you know? It's something productive, and something that is going to result in something beautiful and practical, and something that you can gift. So I love crocheting for all of the above reasons. And that's pretty much my crochet story, how I got to be where I am now. Just this place of like very shelteredness as far as crocheting goes, and I wonder if that's how everybody starts, you know, because I don't, even to this day, I think my mother has been the most adventurous. She's tried a few different stitches that I have never seen before, but my grandmother still, you know, makes like blankets and hats and ear warmers, you know, things like that, and little footsies and things. And she's very much so like making her own pattern up in her head. She doesn't write anything down. She doesn't follow any patterns. She just looks at it and she's like, yeah, I know how to make this. I'm going to figure it out. And so she makes it. And I think that's amazing. It's such a great skill. And I'm learning that. I'm learning to do that, and learning how to get the yarn to do what I want to do, you know? So I'm really excited about where I am with crocheting and where it's going to take me. So yes, it's awesome. And that brings me to the name of my crochet channel. So I have decided to name my crochet channel Heritage and Home fiber company. So I hope to have a crochet company one day, like a fiber company. So this is kind of starting into that, but I guess I'll consider just saying Heritage and Home podcast for now. And then eventually, once I get on Etsy and Ravelry and YouTube, or not YouTube, but Instagram and all of that, I will consider calling it a fiber company, because I eventually want to create patterns to sell, maybe making a couple of finished items for people close by, or or putting some things in local yarn stores. I've already talked to a couple of the yarn stores in my area about that, and I'm just so psyched about it. Like, I'm so excited. So that is the name I came up with. Bounced some ideas off of my husband. A lot of things came up in the process, but to me, this is the name that really speaks to me the most, and it really accurately depicts the vision that I have for my yarny adventures. The reason for Heritage and Home, Heritage, pays homage to the fact that I was taught crochet from my mom, who was taught by her mom, who was taught by her mom. So that is beautiful to me. But also, when I think about crocheting, I know that I love modern crochet. It's very it's the bread and butter for me. It's the part that makes me the most excited versus vintage / traditional crocheting. But when I look at traditional crocheting / the history of traditional crocheting, it's just such a sobering, humbling sort of a concept for me, because crochet was very practical for people. It was a way for people to take care of their families, to make sure they were set for the winter, to make sure they had things that they needed. It wasn't just a hobby. I'm sure they enjoyed it as that way, but it wasn't something to just do. It was something that they needed to do to take care of their families. And I don't know if you guys know this, but crochet actually saved the Irish during a potato famine. So it's just beautiful, and it's such a rich history and heritage. So I thought that was important to me to call it Heritage. Now, the reason for home is because when I think about crocheting, I think of just curling up at home with some sort of wonderful entertainment, such as a nice cozy TV show, Downton Abbey, if you please, or anything like that. And a nice cup of tea, having your puppy on the side here, and just a nice candle burning and just being cozy. I just love that. Heritage and home. To me, that's everything that I think about when I think about crocheting. So that's the name of my channel, and I hope you guys like it, and I hope you connect with it and relate to it. Although I do relate more to modern crocheting and crocheting for wearables, as opposed to decoration and like home decor and accessories. I'm more of a garment crocheter. So I hope you guys loved what I talked about today, and I hope you guys related to some of it. It was inspired by some of the things that I talked about, and like I said, I will link everything that I mentioned below that I can. And I love you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Please share my channel with someone else who's a yarny friend, who may be on Crochet Island like I am, maybe like you are. Just share it with someone, mention it to someone, and like the video. It really does help people to see my content, and it puts me out there where I can grow my channel. So I hope you liked what you heard today, and I hope you stay along for the ride. And in upcoming videos, I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite things related to crocheting, and that is some of my favorite yarns, the hooks that I prefer to use, the things that I like to do while I'm crocheting, such as listening to podcasts or books or watching TV shows, that type of thing. So I will discuss all of that with you guys in the next video. So stay tuned. Bye.